Have you ever wondered how some banks pay as much as 5%, sometimes more on your savings, while other banks will pay as little as 0.05% and earn you next to nothing for keeping your money in their savings accounts? And if you've seen some of these rates, I'm sure you thought for the really high ones, there's gotta be a catch somewhere. Well, this video will answer the questions and clear things up for you for all of these types of accounts. I'll answer how some of these banks pay the high interest rates while exposing why other banks pay next to nothing. I'll also tell you the catch and explain what's going to happen in the future to these interest rates and what to expect if you were to put your money into one of these high interest savings accounts today. So the first thing to answer is how some of these banks pay just so much in interest. To understand how they pay so much in interest, you first have to understand how they make money. Now, banks make money in all different ways, but for the purpose of this, there's really two that we need to focus on related to paying you out in your savings account. The first is using your deposits into their bank to then loan out and make interest off of those loans. The majority of these loans are going to be home equity loans. Now, banks take in money from interest they earn on home equity loans, and they pay out money to you in your savings account interest. The gap between these accounts, that's called profit margin. Now, there are some really revealing charts I'm going to show to you that this profit margin has continued to grow, but we haven't seen the average savings account yield keep up. This chart from Business Insider is really revealing. The blue lines that you see from January through July consistently go up. Well, these are the average home equity rate. In the green, tiny bars you see at the bottom, well, those are the average savings account annual percentage yield. That's what you get when you deposit your money into a savings account. You'll see the blue bars are growing faster than the green. And I also want you to notice how much of a gap there is between the blue bars that banks are making from loaning out money for homes to what they're actually paying you out in green for keeping your money in a savings account. The second primary way banks make money is loaning out their money to other banks. And like the average home equity yield, there's another chart that shows us how much banks can make when they loan out their money to other banks. When banks loan their money out, they loan it in a target range called the federal funds rate. This is set by the Federal Reserve, and it's been consistently rising as the interest rate set by the Federal Reserve goes up. Much like the first chart that we saw with home equity loans, the Federal Reserve has been raising their target range, and the average savings account APY hasn't been quite keeping up. Again, notice the difference between the blue and the green lines in both of these charts. That difference is profit margin, and that difference is increasing. Now, banks can't ever let that tiny green bar at the bottom surpass the blue bar at the top. Otherwise, they'd be paying you on average more than they take in. They'd be losing money every day. But that doesn't mean that they can't let those bars be closer. And the banks with the highest yield savings accounts, well, that's exactly what they do. They return more of their profits back to you, the customer, to be a better bank, to get more customers, to eventually make more money. But the ones who aren't doing that are sneakily hoping that you really don't have the motivation or the knowledge to go out and switch to another bank account, and they're happy to continue to cash that massive profit margin on you by offering you next to nothing for banking with them. Now, I want to give a special thanks to Wealthfront's Amber Grail for creating some of those charts that capture that point so accurately. Now that you know that some banks can pay so much money, let's talk about what the catch is with some of these accounts. I'm sure you want to know before you drop everything and sign up for the first high yield savings account that you see, what the risks are and what things you should know about before jumping into this pond to get some of that juicy high rate. You'll be relieved to know that essentially the catch is there is no catch. Your money is going to be safe as long as the bank is FDIC insured, which means that at least $250,000 of your deposits are guaranteed by the federal government. A lot of times when you see these very high interest rates, you are sacrificing a few things. Here are the top 4 to watch out for. First, the banks can change their interest rates at any time. A lot of them follow the Federal Reserve. Look for a highly rated account. If you see one with 5 stars or close to that, you'll know that while the rate may not always stay the same, they're trying to make it the best that they can at the top of the market. So when even the whole market rate drops, you know your bank is going to do its best to still be in that upper tier of best savings accounts for you. 2, a lot of these banks have less features than standard banks. The most common areas that they cut back in to save some money are customer service. That could be in terms of American customer service or in-person customer service access, or times when you can contact them throughout the week. Other restrictions could be withdrawal amounts or ATM locations, or the ability to get cash out of your account. Number 3, watch out for hidden fees. Sometimes banks make up for the high interest rate that they're giving you by charging you small fees depending on the type of activity you use your account for. And finally, minimum account balances. While this and the hidden fees are becoming less and less common thanks to banks really giving consumers what they want, they still are out there, and I want you to be careful and read the fine print before you sign up for any one of these high yield savings accounts. Now, what's the future? I'm going to tell you, if you sign up today, what you can expect to happen to some of these 4 and 5% rates, maybe a year to 2 years from now. Before I do that, if this free information has genuinely helped you out, it would mean a lot to me if you liked the video and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing more content just like this. We're on the race to 10,000 subscribers. We're trying to get there as fast as we can. The future of these rates. It really could be an hour-long video explaining this to you, but you don't want that, and quite honestly, neither do I. Essentially, what you need to know is for the last 30 to 35 years, interest rates have been on the steady decline all across the world. It's not just in the United States, but for all developed countries. This trend changed back when the pandemic hit and money was printed in all countries, which caused a spike in inflation. And now we've got interest rates back on the rise to try to calm down some of this inflation and get it back to normal levels. That's where we're at now, and that's why we're seeing some of the highest rate savings accounts that we've ever seen in some of our lifetimes. However, most experts agree that this interest rate decline that we had that was slightly interrupted for the past few years will eventually resume, and we'll be back on that trend of a continual decrease. Data from the International Monetary Fund projects the United States from about 2025 to 2050 will get back into a target rate of about 0.5 to 1%. That's going to cause a lot of these super high yield interest accounts to have to bring down the rate that they're offering to you. So don't expect these forever, but for right now, at least in the foreseeable future, looking out a year to a year and a half, you should be pretty happy to earn a lot of interest if you're in the right account, getting that good savings rate. So the key takeaway that I want you to bring home with you from this video, if you learn anything else, is that banks can offer more, and the ones that don't are kind of screwing you over. So if you feel that you want to move your savings account to a different platform, I've got a few links in my description for ones that I like or use personally that offer these great rates while not compromising on features that I feel are essential to have in your savings account. Thanks once again for watching this video. Your support means the world to me. Until next time, have a great day.